should be able to see my screen okay, where it says why switch softwares.
Yep, we're good to go.
Perfect. Okay, well, I appreciate everybody's coming in today. I know we have a big group, and so my focus today is, as it brought out in the preview of the whole project, was that a lot of people are on smaller softwares at this point, and they're looking at when do I move into more of an ERP or enterprise resource planning type of software. And so one of the things we see in the construction industry when we talk about ERP is getting beyond the accounting and now getting into integrated project management, possibly integrated scheduling, and possibly integrated estimating. So most of the people that we talk to are either on QuickBooks or Peachtree, known as Sage 50 right now. So for those two products, they're both great products to start off our business with. They handle the general ledger, the accounts receivable, the accounts payable. They can print financials. They can do payroll. They can do purchase orders, and they can do basic invoicing. Most everybody starts with this, and generally if somebody comes to me and they're starting a business, they're not sure how it's going to succeed, this is a great solution to start with because you can get your feet wet, you can get information for your tax and for your year-end tax planning, you can get a financial each month, so you can get your arms around the business. But then as the business grows, it takes you into a different area. So what's the next step we run into? As the business grows, what's the first thing we do? We add Excel, and we do a project analysis in Excel. The next thing we do is we add Microsoft Word, and we do our subcontracts in Microsoft Word. Then we go on to Microsoft Projects, put our schedule in there. Next step is we may have Bluebeam, look at our takeoffs within there. So now, and then we go to the last one, which is document storage, and find out where to put all these documents that we're creating. So we've taken a solution that worked pretty good, the QuickBooks and Sage 50, but now I've grown to the next level, and now I've started adding these other products to be able to complement what I'm doing. The problem is none of these solutions talk to each other. So if I input that information for project analysis in Excel, I am duplicating what I've already done inside QuickBooks or inside Sage 50 or some other application. And it goes the same way with Microsoft Word projects and Bluebeam and document storage. All these pieces are floating around. I don't have full control over it. Let's look at our product which we're focusing on today, which is Sage 100 Contractor. And so now we look at, from your business standpoint, why would we want to switch to another software and go to the next level? Let's touch on, here are the main things that, as we see, that we can do within Sage 100 Contractor. That, as I brought out earlier, we can also do this within Peachtree or Sage 50 and QuickBooks. So we're able to take those same applications and move them into Sage 100 Contractor. If that's all we could do, there'd be no reason to switch. Now, apologize, these things like to adjust your screen when the resolution changes. Let's look at the next piece. So now we can also add an integrated piece within Sage 100 Contractor for progress billing, or from a home builder, loan draws. Also within the program, we can do certified and union payroll. We can do change order management, submittal RFI tracking, project management reports. If I'm a specialty contractor, service management work orders. I can do scheduling, estimating, takeoffs, and then document management, and then lastly, subcontractor management. So all the things we see in green right now are currently, if I'm using QuickBooks, they're done in some other application, whatever that application may be. And so we're wanting to put this into one application to be able to have this all tied together, so when I do a progress bill, I know the costs that were associated. It ties back to the same job, the same address I had before. Brings all those pieces together so I can stop this duplication of entry. Now, if I need to go a step further, and we're not going to focus on Sage 300 construction and real estate today, if I need to go a step further, if I need intercompany transactions that are automated, if I need more advanced project management, if I have property management, commercial properties that I'm tracking, or I have a sophisticated partnership accounting I'm trying to track, that'll usually move people up to the next level of our ERP, which is Sage 300 construction and real estate. let's look at a piece right here called estimating workflow. So in the normal world, we'll do the estimating, and again, if I'm using QuickBooks, I'm using probably something like Excel for my estimating. So everything that I do in that estimate does not talk to QuickBooks, so I'm having to retype the budget in to QuickBooks if I'm putting it in there. Within Sage 100 Contractor, the estimates export directly into budgets. If I've listed what my materials are, or even my lump sum material contracts, it exports and creates purchase orders. If I subcontract some of the work and I've selected who I'm going to subcontract the work with, it'll automatically generate subcontracts. And then another piece we have is proposals. If we're doing that estimate within Excel, we're going to present that proposal to a customer, so I could export that to the proposal module and print the proposals directly out of the system. And lastly, if we're doing scheduling within Sage 100 Contractor, I can take those tasks that are inside my estimate and cost load it and put it into the scheduling module. So again, the focus here, I've done the estimate and I'm pushing it to the other parts of the modules without retyping anything. Let's talk about some growing pains of the normal contractor out there. I've started my first project. I have my pickup truck. I'm going down the road. I'm doing a small project. At this point in time, as a contractor, I can keep all of this in my head. I can keep track of exactly what's going on. I've known home builders that build one home at a time, and they can keep all the information in their head of how much they owe the subcontractors, what the next stage in the project is, what do I need to do, and the next punch list, whatever it might be. It's all in their head, and it's easy to do because of the experience that contractor has. But then what happens when they add a multifamily project? And then they add a more sophisticated office building. Then they add another office building in another city. Now we're starting to lose control. We come up with issues like, I have subcontractors working on the job, and I don't know whether their insurance expired for general liability and workers' comp. I start double paying some subs out there that in their own right have poor bookkeeping, and so I'm just trying to keep up with the bills, and so I've made some duplicate payments. Some materials that have been dropped on the job site, I've overpaid for those because I haven't matched them up against a purchase order or what I actually suggested it would be over an estimating. There's tools that I've lent out at the job site or equipment I'm using at the job site. I can't remember where that backhoe was and who was actually using it. And then on the cash flow side, maybe I forget to invoice somebody. Maybe there's unapproved change orders that I've started to work on. Now I'm going to have difficulty invoicing those change orders. Or I just forget the change order altogether and forget to bill the change order. These things happen because as I grow the business, I'm not in control because I can't keep it all in my head anymore. I may be relying on new foremen or superintendents that aren't as advanced or sophisticated or been in the business as long as me, and so I can't expect them to have the same knowledge that I have. So it's very typical is that we start off, we have it all in our head, we move to QuickBooks, we still have control, then we start expanding the business and mistakes occur. So the question is, are you ready to go to the next level? What makes sense to look at the next level? Now, our first investment in Sage 50 or QuickBooks was relatively small, $500 investment, let's say. Maybe $1,000 if we were spending a lot of money. Now you go to somebody that sells ERP, and all of a sudden the price has gone to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. I've had many people ask me, where's that $1,000 or $2,000 upgrade from QuickBooks? And I always explain to them there isn't one. There's usually a step up, and it's a significant step to go to that next level to have all of those pieces integrated. So then, like with any project we have, what's our justification? We have to justify any money that goes outside the business. The thing I found very easy to justify is my new truck. Everybody needs a truck, and that 2-year-old truck's starting to wear and tear in the garage, so I might need to spend another $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for a truck. Even though that truck I have right now is still working, but in our heads, it's just an easy thing for us to justify. Now, how can we justify jumping to the next level of software like Sage 100 Contractor? First thing we look at is what's our time worth? How much time are we spending on weekends and nights trying to put this data into Excel, into Word to do this work? What if I had to add another person in the office? Is that person costing me $30,000, $50,000 a year? Because I'm paying for not only their wages, but also any type of burden that's on their salary. If I'm paying for part of their medical, 401k, that all adds up. And then, of course, we need an office space for them. And all those little pieces start adding up to an expensive person. What is the cost of getting information late? What is the cost of incorrect information that I'm making major decisions on? And so we've run into certain contractors that have lost $10, $20, $30,000 on one missed change order. They started the work. They went back to the GC or the owner to try to get paid for it. They had a dispute about what it was actually worth and what we should pay for it, and they lost out on it because they didn't have the processes to tell them which one of the unapproved change orders are sitting out there to keep them from having to go ahead and start doing the work on it. So we need to look at, with any investment you do, and technology is an investment, what are those things that I'm giving up or moving out of? So now let's jump into some of the project screens so you can get a feel for when we're talking about all this integration and what it can do for us. Let's look specifically at the product here. So accurate estimating is one of the first things we're going to start off with. So with estimating, most people start off with a big chief tablet, right? Then they move up to maybe a grid where they're doing it and typing out formulas inside a green sheet of paper. Then now we've moved into Excel. Problem with Excel is we can delete formulas. People can come in behind you and delete columns, make errors. You don't see it until it's too late, and you lose money on it. So taking it from that yellow pad estimating or Excel into a more formal estimating solution. But our big key here is we need to make it where it's not a huge transition. When we transition into a computerized estimating, it's an easy jump for the estimator, and we see the value right away. Now from estimating, let's look at estimating for a second. This is an example of an estimating screen within Sage 100 Contract. We call it our basic estimating. We can use parts, assemblies, we can keep price lists in there. And if you notice on there, export, we can export change orders, proposals, purchase orders, RFPs, subcontracts, even service work orders directly from the screen, so I don't have to retype this information all over again. On the right-hand side there, I can create a proposal and make it match what you're doing right now in the system. So we can do it as simple, like putting in just a few sub-bids, to as complicated as assemblies in there to be able to automate this process of estimating. So again, I'm trying to get it out of a standalone like Excel or pen and paper and move it into something that's going to talk to the rest of the system. Now let's talk about managing our jobs more efficiently. We're generally doing this now if we're using QuickBooks. We've started moving stuff into Excel to get committed cost reports, to get other information. But how can we get our project scheduling, subcontract management, purchase orders, change orders, all of that integrated so it's all within one solution so that when we do reporting, we can bring it all together. Sage 100 Contractor brings all these pieces together in one integrated solution. Let's look at the first one, project scheduling. Very similar to Microsoft Projects if you've done that. We have various tasks. We have start-stop times. Each one of those tasks can be tied to subcontractors or employees within the company, or even equipment, heavy equipment you have at the job site. So one of the things about an integrated scheduling system is we can cost load it from our estimating. Some of the reports we get out of it is if I'm a home builder, it gives me the ability to tell that home builder how we're doing on that estimated closing date. If I'm a general contractor, I can automatically send out email alerts to my subcontractors explaining where they need to be and which job they need to be on next week. And I could even do the same with my employees if I'm tracking my employees within project scheduling. Again, all integrated into one system. How about subcontract management? So here we see a subcontract management screen where we have our various scheduled values. So within this, we can also track each one of those scheduled values, what invoices or draws have come in. The right-hand side there, you can see an example of a subcontract form. We can customize a subcontract in the system, so I don't have to go out to Microsoft Word and print all this stuff all over again. Remember, the system has the job name, the vendor's name, both their addresses, the scheduled values, and even the notes associated with the scope if I wanted to. All of these can automatically print on a formatted subcontract, so that I don't have to retype this again. So I could take 15 subcontracts on a job and print them out in a few minutes versus the time it would take me to go into Word and recreate these all over again. Since Sage 100 Contractor is designed for contractors, I can automatically track the retention, track the change orders against this. And then as these subs are doing work on my projects, I can track their workers' comp, general liability, union license, whatever I'm tracking to make sure that I don't miss out on it. How about purchase orders? Let me go back one. So within purchase orders, it allows us to have a separate purchase order screen to do commitments from that standpoint. Again, I could take my estimating, if I have these on my estimating line items, and I can push these things directly out to the purchase order screen. So purchase orders have a little different look and feel than a subcontract. I may have a parts list that I'm pulling off of. You'll see here I have a quantity and price. I can have it where it's unique to every job, and I just type in unique items and quantities and prices, or I can use a parts database, which can be updated from my supplier to keep up to date on prices and to be able to create purchase orders and make sure that these purchase orders, which flow to accounts payable, that we never overpay for a purchase order again. How about change orders? So when we look at change orders, we have our change order module within the system where we can put in what the prime change is going to be, what the budget change is going to be when I approve this change order. If there's any subcontract changes because they're going to do work on this change order, I can print out both my prime change order form and my subcontract change order form and get approval on both of them. We also have the G701 lookalike form on change orders. So if we're a commercial general contractor and we like the look and feel of that form, we can use that form as we go through and do our change orders. Again, it's all within one system, so I have the job address, I'm tracking outstanding change orders, and I can even have a utility that would tell me all the unapproved change orders and even what their aging is, how many days it's been since I created that change order. So it allows it, again, to flow all the way through the system. How about the Project Work Center? The Project Work Center, think of it as a portal into Sage 100 Contractor where all the data for one project flows. So this one's the U.S. Post Office job I'm looking at. So within that, I can run reports, pull in change orders, do RFIs, do submittals. I can have a hot list of which items are outstanding, otherwise known as a tickler list. So all within one area, I can come and look at my project, run all the reports I need to run. As we go through the whole system here, this is all security driven. So if I'm a project manager and I don't have access to payroll, I can't access payroll through this part of the system. If I don't have access to input accounts payable, I can't go into accounts payable from this screen. So it's all controlled by security. And so within project management, it allows us to, again, have it all come together without having to worry about missing anything. How about things like punch list? If I'm a home builders are very used to using punch list. If I'm a general contractor, I'm also using punch list. There shows you in our document management system some of the forms that we can track within Sage 100 Contractor. Request for proposal, request for information, transmittals, submittals, daily field report, punch list you're looking at now, correspondence, and then a project hot list. All this data is, again, within the system, so I can all have it integrated into one area instead of going to Microsoft Word and creating these. Now, all this data that I'm capturing within Sage 100 Contractor, it's only good if someone's looking at the data. So we have some things within the system where we can automatically email reports to project managers, to CPAs, to owners. We can have it automatically send alerts to project managers when they go over budget on a line item. I can have it automatically tell me which subcontractor's insurance is going to expire this month so I don't forget to follow up on it. I can have it automatically tell me which service work orders have been past due. I've completed the work, but I haven't billed it. This allows me an executive alert and reporting system so that I don't have to be tied to my desk all day long. I can have these automatically emailed to me out in the field without even remote logging in. And if I'm a specialty contractor, we have another part of the program for service management. This allows us to create work orders, to manage those work orders, to invoice the work orders. You see layered on top of my screen is a mobile application called Tech Tools. So if we have mobile technicians out in the field, we want to send them a work order out in the field that they can complete the time, the materials, get signatures out in the field, take pictures out in the field, have that all sync up with my server. We have that ability with Tech Tools and some of the mobile service solutions out there. So we've talked about estimating, production, accounting. Notice this is going in a profit circle, which means all these pieces are touching each other without re-inputting any information. So accounting, we have the typical payroll and payables, similar to what you may have in your current system. We take payroll to the next level, which allows you to do certified reports, and also billing to the next level. Let's look at billing. So we have various bills. We can do a simple invoice similar to QuickBooks for just simple jobs. We can do progress billing like our G701, G702 lookalike forms. We can do time and material invoicing. We can do loan draw requests within here. This allows us, like all of our forms within the system, to customize it, make it our own, adjust the format of it so that we can personalize the system and be able to brand it for yourself when you're working with customers. On the payroll side, you're able to save money on workers' comp because it can automatically adjust the line item based on the work being performed for the different employees that you have. So it can actually adjust the workers' comp codes so they're not the same for every single task they do. This is going to be a fully burdened job cost system, so any of the burden you pay to these employees is going to automatically be part of job costs. And then it allows us to be able to push this out to time and material billing when we're pushing things out to time and material. If we're a union contractor, it allows us to do union reports. If we have a certified government job, a Davis-Bacon job, it allows us to create the reports associated with that. So it's a very deep application from a payroll standpoint. And then, of course, the things you expect, like having federal and state forms in every state. We have all the state forms in the system. So those are all part of the core part of the system. Payables, we have payables in about every system that's out there. It's one of the most common applications outside of general ledger. But this allows us to tie payables into those subcontracts and purchase orders we had earlier. So again, I don't overpay that sub because I'm matching it back to a subcontract. I don't overpay that purchase order because I'm matching it up to what I committed or agreed to pay with the sub. So it automatically keeps and avoids that double paying of the invoices. It can go a step further. Maybe I didn't do a commitment for subcontracts and purchase orders, but I want to be warned in accounts payable if this invoice is going to make me go over budget. So now I'm getting warnings when I see this that tells me I'm going over budget, which may trigger that this is an overbilling that I didn't account for. So there's various things within our accounts payable that allows you to get control. Now all this information from estimating to production to accounting is feeding into our analysis bucket. So with the analysis bucket, it allows us to be able to see and learn from this information that we're putting together. So like right now when you're capturing things within QuickBooks or Sage 50, you're putting it on Excel, that movement of data from job costing to Excel is taking time, so it's putting you behind the curve on when that information is accurate. When you get busy going out to a job, you're not updating that cost to date, and so you're getting farther behind on updated information. So within our system, there's literally over 1,000 different reports, depending on what module we're in, to be able to give you updated information. Here's a few examples from the basic balance sheets, income statements, to graphs within the system. Within the job cost side, I'm able to get dashboards, some overviews, job status reports, job cost journals, over and under billing reports, bonding reports. All those pieces are coming together for me and allowing me to see this, accumulate this, so I can make the right decisions at the job site, which is going to save me money, save time, and bring that project in on schedule. As Tim talked about at the very beginning, the major modules within Sage 100 Contractor are estimating, accounting, project management, service management, and then we tie into various third-party products like the tech tools for mobile. We have various timekeeping solutions that we can track this information. So it allows us to flow through the product and make sure that we hit those different areas that are important to you. If you don't do service management, you don't buy that part of the program. So you look at the pieces that are important to you that add some value. a summary of the information we've gone over. I'm trying to keep track of your time because I know your time is valuable because you're going to be at a job site. You need to get back to it. So in summary, think about this as an investment. Am I at the point where I'm ready to invest in my business and go to the next level of software? Am I at the point where I need to get more organized and stay on top of these projects? And lastly, am I starting to get out of control and I feel like I'm losing parts of the business and don't have a good grasp of it, and I have this feeling in the back of my mind that I'm going to start losing money on a project? With any investment, you have to justify it in your mind to see if it makes sense. So what's my time worth that I'm going to get back to me? What does it cost me to add another person? Again, how much time am I spending on weekends and nights? What's the cost of having late information about how to react out in the field? A great example is I'm doing productivity on my labor out in the field. What if I find out till it's too late that I'm 30% behind on my productivity compared to labor? Now my labor is going to go over 30%. What if I type stuff incorrectly into Excel, send it out, and I think that I'm accurately making decisions on accurate information, but it's incorrect, I make wrong decisions, and I lose money? And lastly, again, what if I miss a change order because I'm not on top of it, or I get that change order in late, or I start working that change order before it's approved? Any of those situations can cost us money, which could easily pay for the software. So I know Tim showed you at the beginning. Feel free to check out our website, alliance-sg.com. We have various videos that will take us more in depth in the projects, both in Sage 100, Sage 300, Sage Estimating. You can email us at info@alliance-sg.com. One of the next steps is if it looks like you're in a position to be able to see, will this investment make sense to me? When we work with you, we do more detailed needs analysis so we can customize the demo to make the workflow fit the way you're doing it. If you're buying software from anybody, you want to make sure that when you see a demonstration that you see it with your information, with the information, the workflow that you're working. You don't want a generic workflow. That's what you got stuck with when you got Sage 50 and QuickBooks. You want to make sure that this workflow is going to work for your type of business. Just because you're a general contractor, a home builder, a specialty contractor, HVAC, doesn't mean everybody in your business works the same. We find many people have much different workflow. So you give us that information, we customize the demo around it, we show you where you can add value, then we leave it up to you and see if it's something that can improve your business and you can see your investment paying off. So I'll stop there and see if we have any questions at this point in time.